Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Cast 5 Podcast. My name is Fives, and I'm joined today by my brothers from another mother, my wonderful castmates, Rohan, Theo, and Daniel.
Yes, going on early in the morning podcast. Let's go. God.
Morning podcast.
Yo, these are the greatest. I don't understand what you guys are talking about. You get it out of the way right off the bat. No, feeling good, man. Feeling good. What you guys been up to?
We shot the Moon Knight review last night. That was fun. Went almost straight to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed up for another 5 hours now. Just a couple more hours.
Fair enough. What about you, Theo?
Nothing much. Just finishing up the last couple episodes of Bleach in preparation for our review in a couple days. Damn, am I high?
I know. I will come back to you. Don't worry. We will touch base on this very quickly. But Daniel, what is going on, man? How are you?
I started to play Guardians of the Galaxy on Game Pass.
Excellent choice, sir.
I really like it.
Yo, it's a solid 8. It's a solid 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
I mean, the music and everything is pretty cool. But then, just the game mechanics too, especially in the fights, where you can, give orders to, the rest of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to help you out with all the different abilities. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I agree. You're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love it. But yes, Theo, let's touch base on this very, very quickly. This is more for Theo and Rohan. Daniel, I'm sorry. I know you don't like any anime, so I'll come back to you because I do have a question for you too. But Theo,
I'll just glaze over for a second.
Yes. But yo,
So sleep while you're at it.
oh my god, dude! There's certain times when you watch something and it lives up to the memory of what you remember it being, especially when it comes down to when you're reading something. And there's a specific fight in this season, and it's in the beginning. It's literally the first episode, which is Ichigo versus Dardoni. And he is just forcing him to just say, yo, just use your Bunkai. I want to fight you full power, use your Bunkai. And Ichigo is just being arrogant, his ego and everything. He's not doing it. But this one scene when he finally says it, fuck it. Let's go with my ego. I'm going to do it. And he puts Nell down. And he's like, Nell, just take a step back. And he's like, okay, this is good. Don't worry. And then the camera shifts from Nell to him. And it's him in a shihakusho. And it's just flowing in the wind. You see all this Ryatsu coming in. You don't see his eyes. You see just a corner of his face. And he's that stern look. And he just says, don't worry. I am not going to let even a sliver of Ryatsu go past me. And he looks at Dardoni and he says, I'm sorry, but I can only show this to you for an instant. Trust me, it'll be enough. Pulls on the mask, Ryatsu comes out, and he just one-shots him. Done. The entire fight on manga being one panel and everything to now just seeing it on screen. Obviously we saw it when it came out too, but how beautifully it's shot, and it just shows you just how insanely overpowered he is. But that shot of not even a sliver of Ryatsu go past me, yo, it still lives up to the hype. I still had goosebumps when I was watching it because I knew what was coming, but I was still yo, this man's about to get fucked up, and he has no idea. Ichigo beat him up, took his lunch money, and then took the food and threw it back at him. So it was great. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And it just gets better and better.
And there was also the fact that it took, I guess, it took until season 8, and suddenly this season is just the overall animation quality just increased so much.
It's all the payoffs you're looking for. Yes. It's all the payoffs, everything, all the story that's building up to it. They're like, you know what? We're going to have one season. We're just going to give you everything. And it's just, oh my God, it's so good. I'm so hyped to talk to you and Faraz about it Monday. This coming Monday, actually, around 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So very excited. But Rohan, you gotta, since you're not part of the review, you gotta check this season out, man. These are all the fights back to back that you remember, man. And the budget, they put in budget behind it, bro. It's
I was
like
actually-
oof.
I was actually just taking in the actual fight you're talking about, the journey just now. It's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's pretty.
Exactly. But Daniel, I have not forgotten about you. I did say that I will come back to you with a question. So what's going on, man? How's the weather been like? Which the doomy and gloomy weather, does it remind you of back home? Like, is that
You
what's
want to
it-
know about the weather? It's typical Canadian spring, where it's nice and warm in spring in the morning, summer in the late morning, afternoon, and then winter in the evening.
Excellent, because you know what? You are completely freezing, so I am just gonna completely gloss over you and talk about our new our channel itself. So I want to let every audience member know that any new audience members or podcast listeners know that we are Cast 5. We're a group of friends that love to discuss or review video games, anime, movies, TV shows, entertainment news, or any general topics that matter to us. And hopefully it matters to you as well. Otherwise, this part of the entire intro is quite pointless. But we also stream on twitch.tv/cast_5, and we're currently streaming parts of Endwalker, Demon Souls, and Elden Ring. A few housekeeping items for you. Moon Knight Episode 4, as Rohan stated, is out. It was released yesterday alongside Thor, Love and Thunder teaser trailer reaction. We also have part 3 of Farhad's playthrough of Elden Ring, Rune 1, because he's a madman. He's a madman, I tell you. And he's doing really, really good. And it sucks because I play the game with him. So I'm like, how is there such a huge difference in skill? Like, what happened? Like, what? This man is fighting like people on level 1 by himself. Whereas I'm like, I'm going to summon 3 people to make my life a little bit easier. It's terrible. It's depressing. I love it.
Is he doing some kind of like hard run or something? When you say Rune 1, what do you mean?
Level 1?
Yeah,
Oh
level 1.
shit!
Level
A
1.
1 run? Like
Yes.
he's just going. He's playing through the game at level
1. Exactly.
Holy shit!
But you, audience members, should not be like Theo, or a podcast listeners should not be like Theo and Rohan and actually watch our videos, because then you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm throwing in Theo because I didn't want to make Rohan feel left out. But here we are. I'm saying it anyways. But we have tons of other news content. Alongside a plethora of content available on youtube.com/cast5. So, if you like our content, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, because it helps with the YouTube algorithm to promote our channel, and hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on. If you enjoy our content, you can always help us support on patreon.com/cast5, and members get exclusive content. Now, with that said, guys, I wanted to share something with you guys that happened yesterday in regards to Crave. So you know how the Batman is actually out on Crave?
Like already?
Fast.
Yeah, that was
Damn.
really fast, right? So I've been on a binge of Kevin Hart movies recently. So I've got watching his like Ride Along 1, 2, and Central Intelligence, and a couple of other his stand-up shows. So we went on Crave to see what exactly is available. Yo, you know when you hit on an app like Netflix, Disney, whatever, it's their title screen. It shows you what exactly app the one that you clicked on. And then it goes into a menu, and then you pick whatever you want to go to. Nope. We clicked on Crave. It went directly into the Batman and started playing. So I'm like,
Whoa.
Crave's just like, no, fuck you. This is what you're
You are
watching.
watching
choice today.
You're watching this today. And I'm looking at Angie. I'm just like, yo, did you choose this? She's like, no, it just went straight into it. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, they're definitely getting them views. So it's
one way. That's one way to drive the viewership up, right? in a
100%,
specific channel.
right?
I can imagine they're gonna keep on doing this. Like other service providers, like streaming providers, will actually do this if they have a particular release of a piece of content that they want views on. Because like, God, how much did it probably cost Crave to actually like get their hands on this, right?
Well,
to not actually get eyeballs on it. So
Well, Crave is
that's actually-
HBO, and HBO also owns Warner Brothers. So
oh yeah, so there you go. Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. But it's a kind of little kind of sleazy. It's like
yo, it's
people I could imagine would want to watch it eventually, but damn, just like no, your choice
Straight
is
in.
removed today.
straight in. That's just what it is, man. So
Like today, you're watching Batman. Tomorrow, you're watching Batman, and the other tomorrow as well. Your neighbor will also be watching Batman.
and you know what the fun part about your neighbors are? They know about us. So check us out at youtube.com/cast_5. Don't be like Rohan. Watch our content.
No, I'm too busy making content with you guys. That's why. Too busy making content to actually watch it ourselves, man. There's too much stuff to do, man. There's too much content on there to actually just be sitting down myself and actually like take it all in, man. Guys, go check us out. There's so much stuff for you to view and take in. Lots of fun.
That was a beautiful retort. I'll let you take it. So let's dive in. I have some really, really good news items for you guys today. And it's kind of fun. Like all of you guys, since I knew it's going to be Theo, it's going to be Daniel, it's going to be you, Rohan. I got some stuff for every single one of you guys, except for maybe Daniel, because, Daniel's British, so I don't know what he likes. Actually, you know what? I'll get some tea recipes right now for you. What do you like? The politics. To jump right in, right? With a cake? With a cake that was given to him?
Hello, cake.
But the first news item, guys, I want to discuss is, believe it or not, Sony released PlayStation Plus Premium's dates. And they are as follows. Ooh. Asian markets, excluding Japan, is targeting May 23rd. Japan is targeting June 1st. America is June 13th. And Europe, June 22nd. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of a refresher, when we talk about the new tiers of PlayStation Plus, we have PlayStation Essential, which is exactly the same as service as what we have right now. We have PlayStation Plus, which will include everything that you have right now, plus a downloadable catalog of nearly 400 PlayStation games, and PlayStation Plus Premium, which is the granddaddy of their tier service. And that includes everything that I mentioned, plus PlayStation 3 games via streaming, PlayStation 1, 2, and PSP game catalogs for download and streaming. What are your thoughts, guys?
Did they also release the price breakdowns?
So, not essentially, but there is a pricing structure to it, I can tell you. The problem is that this is definitely going to change because we're living in the Canadian market. So PlayStation Plus Essential is pretty much yearly $59.99 USD. PlayStation Extra is $99 USD, and the Premium is $120 USD on a yearly basis. You can do monthly too, so, which is a
$150 for us.
Yeah, so 150.
Is it taxed on PS Plus nowadays?
Yes.
Yeah, they changed that now.
Yes. So even, let's say, argument's sake, 140 divided by 12, we're looking at $11.66 a month. So $12, you will have PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PSP, PS3, PS4, and all the other benefits of PlayStation Plus. Does that move the needle at all for you guys when it comes to this particular service? And if so, why?
Like, okay, let's start off with you, because I think you're getting it anyways, right? Because you mentioned that you want to actually see how it's like. Like, is it like actually something that you want to?
I'm not sure if he's getting it for 1 year though. Are you?
I don't know yet. I need to see the game catalog. If the game catalog for PS1, 2, and PSP is good, then yes, I'll get it. Because $11, fine. It's usually we get it for $60. So it's double the cost of what PlayStation Plus right now is. So it is what it is.
So long as like it hits the nostalgia factor, probably, where like it provides like those games that you remember and love, it will in the end justify for you getting it for the year.
That is correct, sir. That is correct.
I don't think the library of PlayStation games that I remember is that deep enough for me to invest that much, right? To actually getting the premium one, right? So the regular one I probably will get. I'll just stick with that. and depending on how much more stuff like the actual premium one actually gets, right? Maybe I consider it, but I don't think. I think overall that my PlayStation library of games I played, it just isn't deep enough. That deep enough to actually want to actually invest that much to actually have total access to it.
Counterpoint: is that really Sony's fault or your fault for inability to finish
just
these
no,
fucking games, man? Where's that Last
you
of Us?
you just want to say that just to
Where's that
admonish
Last
me
of Us
for
at?
not completing certain games. That's
Where's
all that
Last
is.
of Us, Rohan?
If you
Where's
just
that
That's all
Last-
that
I was
is.
gonna
It's not
say
a
that.
valid point. It's just a way to freaking like lash me for not freaking completing the games.
I wholeheartedly disagree. It's a very valid point because one of
No.
the games that they were talking about, what you mentioned, catalog and so forth, like what exactly they're going to offer. Are you talking about the type of games, or are you talking about the quantity? That's what would swing the balance over.
I think, oh God, I think with this sort of thing, right, in terms of library, I think quantity will
400 games.
would probably win out to like draw more people in the end.
Don't worry about no other
Right.
people. You specific. What would you think?
Gosh, no, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Right?
You two are
it's
very
just-
different gamers, though.
yeah, right. I don't. Yeah, like you
Bias
said, right?
likes a big catalog because he'll play lots of different games. So with you, you're very like one game
Don't
specific,
you
and you stay
say
on it for
Five plays a
months.
lot of different games, but he actually doesn't?
That's a lie.
He jumps through a
Yo,
lot, yeah. Every week
let's
you're
discuss.
like on a new one.
Shots fired. I want the record to show that I am openly willing to compare my trophy list to Theo's trophy list. And if in case the Theo's trophy list is a lot he has more trophies than I do, then I will gladly call CSIS to have Daniel removed and sent back to Britain. I will gladly do it. Theo,
wait,
the
are we
ball's in your court.
Are we comparing like the number of like games like comparatively like you versus Theo, or like the type of games that are similar?
I'm saying trophies. I'm saying trophies in general. Easiest way to figure it out. And you know what, Theo? On that note, where is your trophy list? I can't see. Where are you hiding? What are you hiding, you coward? Let me know. Let me see this. What is going on? We're going to do some research right off the bat right now.
I haven't used my trophy list in a while since I don't have a PS5, so I can't compare PS5 games with you, unfortunately.
You see, there you go. Automatically, I will win. There you go.
I can use some stuff to win. There's nothing to compare.
If, like, I don't know, we do some, like, factoring or whatever,
But no,
which I'm probably going to.
Maybe. He is right, though. He is right. There's because everything is becoming very open world structure, it's getting difficult to jump in through different games because they just take too much time, man. 20 to 50 hours. Like I was talking to Farhad the other day, and I'm legit asking him, like, okay, well, we only have Melina to beat for Elden Ring. We beat the story. We did what we needed to do. 100 level 150. I'm sure I have 120, 30 hours into the game. So once that's done, do I jump back into Final Fantasy 14? Or do I play something completely different? And he was like, do you want to do Horizon? And I want to play Horizon. I really do. Daniel, I do. Believe me.
You're burnt out, yeah.
But it's the open world structure. I'm sorry?
You want to know about trophies? Fires has 4,458 and 26 platinums.
To the audio listeners, I am slowly just reeling back with my hands up in the air.
And he's getting up and he's walking away.
I don't have the sunglasses, or else I would put that. Oh yeah.
There used to be a way to compare.
But yes,
I can't even find mine.
Get out of
But
here,
I think
Theo.
either way, on both our trophy lists, like probably half the games that we have on there are like 1% or 0%.
You say that now. You don't speak facts at me over here, sir. He's right though. He's absolutely right. So.
No.
But
I only have 1,100.
1,100. Why are you in part of this? Pull up Rohan's. Let's look
Wait, how
at
many
Rohan's.
platinums do I have? I don't remember anymore.
And so yeah, the the price structure for PlayStation is a little too. But I think that's definitely going to be a factor.
Yeah.
Right. Like no matter how big the actual library or even the particular quality of it at the launch. Okay. Let's actually like, take a look at this though. Right. If at the launch the quality, like for you, Faz, right? You're saying like if it doesn't have these particular games that you're looking for the PlayStation 3 and the PSP, you said, are you going to be like, no? Like
there's one game.
Is it gonna sour you? Is it gonna sour you like to it? Like, and then it's gonna like take a lot for them to actually win you back, right? Are they gonna have to launch with quality first rather than quantity?
I think it has to be quality altogether because there's a reason they haven't really announced the title that they're releasing. So they wanted to have a bigger impact. Plus, on top of that, we also have E3 technically is canceled this year. It's not technically, it is canceled this year. So Jeff Keighley is going to do his Summer Games of Fest. So if that's what he's doing, and Sony comes out and says, this is our conference, this is what we're announcing, because PlayStation VR 2 supposed to be launching this year. We don't have any prices. God of War Ragnarok, which is another story I'm going to discuss, supposedly launching this year. We don't have a release date. Final Fantasy 16. There's and on top of that, a brand new structure for PlayStation. There's a lot of stuff that Sony can talk about, but none of that stuff they have actually come out and really said it, except for pricing and so forth. So I think they want to make a bigger splash. For that to occur, that's going to be in May and June. So there's going to be something coming up. So that is where you would turn around and say, hey, FYI, all these games are part of it day one. All these games will be added later on. We're adding 121st, and we're going to go with that. Because there has to be quality, right? For me personally, Theo knows this really well. There's 5 games. Generally, if you have 5 good games, I will buy your console. Right? But for a service, there's only one game that I'm looking for. And if they have it, I will get it day one. And I'll get the premium just to say, hey, guys, like the audio listeners, I'm slowly clapping actually. I would turn around and say, yes.
Good job, PlayStation.
Exactly. Because the game that I'm looking for is Tales of Xillia 2. If they have that game for streaming, it's a PS3 game, so of course it's going to be the second tier, not the third, but I'll get the third tier just to say, yes, I am happy with the service if they have that game. I don't think they will because it's a third party game, and I don't think Namco Bandai is going to turn around and say, yeah, we'll give you this game. It's not available anywhere.
And that's kind of hard to get on board with that.
Right.
And probably would technically, if you are going for the 1 year one, it would technically be cheaper for you to just get a PlayStation 3 and the game.
100%, right? 100%. Buy a PlayStation 3 really, really cheap somewhere, $60, and just call it a day. But am I really gonna do all of that work, Theo, for that one game? Am I really going to? Don't answer that question.
For the convenience.
We all about convenience.
Once you get struck by the disappointment of PlayStation Plus, they'll be like, okay, time to go on eBay.
I know, right? I know.
But yeah, that is something to worry about, which is delivery on the PlayStation side.
Yeah, their streaming service itself is as choppy as how Daniel is this video. So I'm a little concerned about that. So, you know, on the Xbox side, they're actually xCloud is pretty good. Have you guys tested it out?
They nailed it.
Yeah, right.
So it's like when you have to compare the two live services, where one delivers quality like over the net things at good speeds, good basically what you expect like for a playable experience, and the other one is maybe they improved it with the new tiers, maybe they got new servers, but you're really gonna have to like see it out first.
They are working with Microsoft Azure servers. Sony's working with them.
Oh,
so let's see.
I guess it would make sense to like bolster the infrastructure in terms of their cloud providing, right? Cloud gaming. So, yeah.
So Daniel, what about you? Because I know like Rohan and Theo have a lot of opinions. Theo with his like false facts that he's tossing out. Where's your trophy list at, bro? Where's your trophy list at? Come at me. But
You know what? You know what? Let me show you my trophy list. This is what I turn to now.
oh, look at that! He has an Xbox. He's using his Series X control. I'm very proud of you, sir. I'm very proud that you actually even turned it on.
No longer a PlayStation now. It changed to an Xbox.
Yeah, and it's the next gen's version too. He got it before it was PS5. Awesome. But Daniel, what about you?
I'm definitely gonna try it. Like, I have some kind of like older gen games I'd like to try.
Right.
I mean, majority of the older gen ones I have are for Xbox 360. So I'm hoping that I can find those on the PS Plus, but we'll see.
Right.
But I'll definitely try like the max tier for like a month,
Right.
just to like mess around with, see what they got, see how it is, and
And then suddenly
just
the max tier does auto renew, and you're like, God fucking damn it.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
That's the thing though, is like there's so much stuff now that like it adds up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how everyone got rid of cable because cable is so expensive in Canada, and
Yeah.
you just got like 1 or 2 like subscriptions, and now it's like 5 or 6 plus gaming ones, and it's like, oh boy.
No, I know, right? Okay, that's fair, but for a person that's what his first game was Horizon or Uncharted 4, which games from like PlayStation 3 era would you be interested in?
Definitely Red Dead 1.
But you played it, didn't you?
Yeah, but I want to play it again. I only
Right.
have it on disc, and you can't get it on PlayStation like online.
Is there
Oh,
any
yeah.
game? Is there any game that you haven't played that you would want to go back and try to like find?
I'd have to look some up. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of, because I wasn't really playing video games fully back then. Maybe like GTA 4, definitely that. But this is all Rockstar stuff, so I don't know if they're making that
Yeah.
stuff accessible or not.
You have Xbox Live anyway, so you could probably just get GTA 4 of that. Is it not on?
Not there. No.
Oh.
See, fun fact: Daniel wasn't allowed to play video games when he was growing up because his mom was like strict, right? She wanted to make sure he gets a decent education and everything. So this man
Want
left
to make sure that he doesn't go stealing cars.
Yeah,
How did he wind up with us?
He left the continent just to be able to come and get a PlayStation 4 and play video games. And now we are what your mom feared, man. We got you down. Play those video games. Go back and play all these the backlogs.
Call of Duty Black Ops.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, the Black Ops games. Yeah, the
First
Call
one's
of
pretty
Duty
good, yeah.
games. Yeah. they're pretty good.
What else? Oh, a lot of these you already got anyway, like Uncharted,
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's Creed. I already have on disc the collection.
You know,
God
speaking
of
of
War is remastered, so let's just have
Right,
to
there you
actually
go.
start it for once.
100%. Speaking of games that truly deserve to be played, Tales of Borderlands. Rohan, have you ever played that? It's a Telltale series.
No.
Okay.
I believe it was on Steam, right? But it didn't. Oh gosh, I'm not quite sure if I actually watched any videos on it, right? Because like there was a bunch of prequels to a few prequels to Borderlands 3,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I literally just went from Borderlands 1, 2, and I never and I didn't really find out there was like prequels to 3 until like I was like in the middle of playing Borderlands 3 and like finishing up like my second character and stuff like that. I was like, oh, do I want to go back?
So
Maybe now I do.
Tales of the
Wow.
Borderland is actually a Telltale series that's very much like The Walking Dead or the Fable series that they have, which I forgot, Wolf Among Us, I think it's called. And it was supposedly, or even the Batman actually, it was supposedly one of the best ones that Telltale did. It was extremely funny. It was very engaging. And obviously played different than Borderlands.
Yeah, so it's not first person shooter. It's
No,
like the
no.
Telltale's games.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Telltale game.
Yeah.
So that particular game, when Telltale was, they filed for bankruptcy, and so, this other company bought Telltale. They have gone ahead. Gearbox actually have gone ahead and announced that there's a sequel coming to Tales of Borderlands 2. So since you have not played the first one, and the sequel's coming out, this might be something that you might be interested in, because Telltale games are very easily streamable. And we happen to have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/cast_5, where you can definitely check us out. Would that be something you might be interested in?
You know what? I think it would be even more worth it to actually experience that second prequel if I actually played the first one as well and then went into the second one.
That's what I mean, yeah.
So in other words, it's never going to happen.
Shots fired.
Why not? Why give up hope already before you try it, Theo? Come on now.
What's the definition of failure? This is it, right? Not even attempting. That's hilarious. But what is not funny, guys, is a Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel got delayed till spring 2023. And I know, Daniel, you are not a Nintendo fan. Theo, I know that you wholeheartedly heart Nintendo, and also Farhad does as well. I don't really care much for Nintendo games except for Mario and a few others. And Rohan, I know that this is not up your alley as well. But Breath of the Wild was one of those games that completely changed the open world genre in itself. Similar, I would say, would be Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto has always done it, right? So Breath of the Wild the Elden Ring is probably the reason why Breath of the Wild, like, without Breath of the Wild, there is no Elden Ring. That's what I was trying to say. Now, with the sequel coming out and getting pushed to spring 2023, my question to you guys is, does this mean Nintendo is going to launch a new console?
Wait, like how long has the Wii U's been out?
They're on the Switch, man.
Long
They're on the
enough.
Switch.
Switch.
Wii U?
Wii U, I know. I know this man.
So it's how much I know about Nintendo, right?
I know,
damn.
I know.
You're a rock for
Switch,
that.
yeah.
The Switch has been out for 5 years. Nintendo's life
so it's in this
cycle
Yeah.
is always 5 years. This is the first time they've gone to 6 years.
It's an easy plus, guess to make, isn't it? It just seems to line up too perfectly.
Is there a 4K Switch yet? I know they have the upgrade for the new LED or whatever it was.
Yes, OLED is the new screen they came out with, which was a little bit better in terms of battery life and stuff. But when it comes to the actual hardware, no, they have not upgraded anything to 4K yet, which also means that the still unnamed sequel, Breath of the Wild 2, that sequel, there is no way in 5 years it's still going to run on Switch, correct? Like, hardware-wise,
they gotta get you.
Nintendo hasn't actually done like upgraded their console, like like did an upgrade
You mean
to
like
a particular
PS4
console.
Pro?
Yeah, they've never done that kind of thing before, have they? Right?
Wait, heck?
Have they?
What do you mean? Go.
You know how this PlayStation 3
No,
and
yeah,
this
not-
PlayStation 3 Pro?
Yeah, no.
No, they have. Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Oh, right.
Nintendo
Yeah,
DS, DS XL, 3DS, and then 3DS XL.
Yes,
They
yeah.
Well, that's
new
like
3DS.
thing, right? Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
all that stuff they always
So those are like those
put
are like
iterations.
handheld.
So
Okay,
is Switch.
okay.
Switch is also a handheld, right? It's a hybrid console.
So I guess they could do it. How would you feel if they just did an upgrade to the Switch instead of an actual new hardware console? How would you feel
Well, I
about
mean,
that?
if it's an upgrade, would be hardware.
But
wouldn't
okay,
it?
but like it's not like full on like this is the new Nintendo console, right? Versus just okay, we have a.
I don't
iteration
think they will
coming
move
up.
away from the Switch moniker, right? Like, think about it. Like, if Nintendo Switch is so popular, and
the
it
moneymaker,
made exactly. I don't think they switch away from the title, from the name schemes or anything like that. I think they just release, let's say, if it's an Apple Pro, like iPad Pro. So this would be like Nintendo Switch 4K or Nintendo Switch Pro or something like that, right?
But like it's like the same moniker, but internally it's a new console essentially. Like it's still the Nintendo Switch, but like internally it's just like the hardware.
Just beefier. That's it.
Completely up to date, like modern stands for like at least Nintendo. Like
because with NVIDIA DLSS, they could technically pull off 4K graphics with ray tracing and not really use a lot of power. So they should be able to do it.
Do you think they'll do a Switch Pro though, or do you think they'll do like Switch 2 and like redesign like the grips and the shape, but still keep like the core of the console?
I think they call it Super Switch, like Nintendo, like the original Nintendo and then Super Nintendo. That would be awesome.
That would be hilarious because it is one of their most successful consoles.
Exactly. So, because the whole Wii U thing did, nobody talks about that console.
There's too much like aftermarket
we don't talk
stuff.
About
Switch, like you can get different like grips and things to make it more comfortable, and cases and everything else like that. So like, there's definitely a market for like improving like the ergonomics and everything of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that they just change that up a bit, make it more comfortable, so you can focus on more of the handheld stuff, and then just beef it up and make it more powerful in 4K and turn it into a Pro or turn it into version 2.
See, this is the thing. Nintendo is not known for convenience, guys. So their internet itself, like the online multiplayer is oof. Like just oof. And then when you look at their not the
If you talk about oof, remember back in the Game Boy when we had to use the link cable?
Yes. They never make things easier. So even right now with their online service, and they added the expansion pack, like a lot of like that in itself, the pricing structure was ridiculous, right? So Nintendo is always known to make like they're gonna goof up somehow. So I personally don't think they would completely redesign the Switch. I think they would keep the Switch the way it is and just add another member to the family. Kind of like Xbox, like you know how they had the Scorpio. What was it? Xbox Series, not Xbox Series, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, and the Xbox One. Right, they're three different tiers. So right now they do have two different tiers. Right, they have. Well, I'm sure the original Switch that will just become the OLED one. They have the one that's just. It's just a handheld itself, and then you have the Switch Lite. Thank you, Daniel. And then they'll have the Pro version. So I think that's how they would segment their console family.
Nintendo Switch Super Pro.
Super Pro. It's not just Pro. It's Super Pro. And it's Terry Crews that's presenting it. So you see all that power. At the same time, it says Old Spice in the back, because why not?
But it would just look tiny in his hands.
But
he'd crush it.
Exactly. Speaking of crushing things, God of War Ragnarok. Oof. So rumor has it, who exactly has played God of War here? Other than Farhad, because he's not here.
You talk about the original God of War.
No, I'm talking about the PS4 version.
Oh, well, I've played some.
Why am I friends with you guys, man? So
really? Not Daniel, you haven't?
No, Daniel hasn't.
No, it's on my list. So I'm slowly going through the classic PS.
I'm not alone. I thought I was the only one that didn't play.
Yes, you were slowly that you are not the anomaly anymore. I have become the anomaly. But yes, God of War, Ragnarok. A lot of people were stating the fact that it might be delayed because there's no news about it whatsoever. There's no further updates or anything whatsoever. So the community manager came out and said that it's still tracked for a 2022 release. So Farhad and myself, we are really, really hyped about it, and also Nima. But when you look at this game, and you look at the slate that PlayStation has this particular year that they've released so far. They had Gran Turismo, Horizon, God of War. It's a pretty solid year, man. Pretty solid year. I'm looking at the Xbox side, and the only thing that's coming out that I'm remotely interested in is Starfield. That's coming out in November. So if this comes out in November and Starfield's coming out in November, I'm assuming Rohan's going to go Starfield. Like, that's not even a question. He's going to go Starfield because, you know, he hasn't played the first one. He's not going to play the second one. Starfield has nothing to do with it and so forth. So I'm going to skip Rohan.
I know he's
Why don't you
making
finish the
faces,
game before all you people?
Like Ragnarok?
No, God.
Yeah, that's awesome. Exactly. But Theo, my question to you is that if this game Ragnarok is released, you did not enjoy God of War 4, correct?
Yep. Couldn't stand the tank controls.
So please don't downvote us at all. This is Theo's opinion. It's very unpopular, so leave him be. Okay, but yes, are you interested in Starfield then?
Nope, I haven't. I don't really even remember what the heck it is. It was like the strategy game or something, right? The RTS, was it?
No. You're confusing it.
Picking up soon.
So this Starfield is from Bethesda. It's their new game that's supposed to be on the same level as Elden Ring. Not Elden Ring, sorry. Elder Scrolls. So yes, so it's all sci-fi. This is something that would be right up Daniel's alley.
It would be interesting, but
is it on the Game Pass?
Definitely have to see first.
It is on Game Pass. First day.
All right.
Oh, Starfield. Okay. Yeah.
See, there you go. I wouldn't say.
No, it's a convenience freaking factor. Leave me alone, you damn bastards. You
Convenience
cannot
factor.
deny the convenience factor here.
Of Game Pass 100%. Okay, so we seem like we're gonna be more Team Starfield. I am still gonna play Ragnarok. Screw you guys, man.
You can go play by yourself.
I definitely
with
will.
Farhad.
For it's not a co-op game, man.
Yeah,
It's not
no.
a co-op game. Farhad can cheer play with me. But there's a news story. Other than speaking of co-op games, there's a small game that came out recently that's one of the most highly reviewed games of this year. You guys may have heard of it. I don't think I have really mentioned it as much, but the game is called Elden Ring. I have submitted an article in our Discord chat. Have a look. And this particular article really caught my eye because I think this is fantastic. While you guys pull it up for our audio listeners and for our viewers, I'll let you guys know that this is Elden Ring Game Boy demake. And this guy released a first teaser trailer. It's actually going to be, you can play it as a physical means on a Game Boy, not emulation. How crazy does this look? This is very similar. This is very similar to the Bloodborne remake the guy did for PS1.
Oh wow! And Nintendo didn't sue him to oblivion.
Not
Impressive.
yet. Not yet. Remember, we said they're not about convenience. This is coming.
Oh,
Or,
shit. That's kinda cool.
I think Nintendo only sues if like you do their own games. If they're not their own games, they're like,
But it is running on a Game Boy.
Yeah, they're really,
it's
they're
a
really.
8-bit version of Elden Ring.
Yes, it's a remake.
Hmm.
You learn something new every day, right, sir?
I know.
Yeah, there you go.
That's, wow.
The
that's-
word of the day today. Remake.
How?
it's like
Did he mention how long it is? Like, okay, the previous remake, like, was it like a 1-for-1 comparison in terms of overall gameplay, where like in terms of the length of the
Entirety of the
gameplay
game?
time, yeah, gameplay
Mm.
time, like how much like hours of gameplay do you actually get out of it? These remakes, did they mention that?
You're asking me questions that I don't have answer for, but this is something. Comment down below. Let us know if you have seen Bloodborne's remake on PlayStation 1. Was it the entirety?
This is actually kind of freaking cool.
You know what else is cool? Wu-Tang Clan being in Fortnite. Rohan, talk to me about this. How does this make you feel?
You're better off asking my cousin, my little cousin, that freaking plays that. She downloaded it, Fortnite, on my PS5, and she's the one that rocks it all the time. And
But
that's the
Wu-Tang Clan?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
That's crazy. That's cool. Like it's very on brand for Fortnite too, right? The different personalities that the Wu-Tang Clan has, right? From ODB to, well, I don't know if they have ODB, but like from Ghostface Killer to Method Man to like all these other guys. So yeah, that makes total sense. I haven't played Fortnite in a minute, man, and so I don't know how it's really affecting the community, but I can imagine these guys are going just apeshit over it.
Audio listeners, I just want to let you know that Daniel's face at the mark 45 minutes and 43 seconds. Please make sure you click on the video and check it out because it is priceless. The man has no idea what we're talking about, which makes it hilarious. Do you play Fortnite? Have you played?
Fortnite.
Oh, you
I've
despise
never
it.
touched it, and I never will.
I have never played Fortnite either. I think it's past my time. I'm not a young lad anymore. But Theo, what about you? Wu-Tang Clan, man.
There is Wu-Tang Clan, but I could get Wu-Tang Clan outside of Fortnite so that I don't have to deal with Fortnite.
That is true.
That's actually really good.
But you know what else you can get out outside Fortnite? HBO's House of Dragon. Recently, some numbers came out, and this is quite exciting news. Is that each episode is $20 million? The entirety of seasons for Game of Thrones was 100 million, which means if there's 10 episodes, this is 200 million. HBO is spending some money when it comes to the production of this show.
What are they exploding on it?
This is
like an actual building. That's all I can imagine.
Dude, this is House of Dragons. That means that this is going to be Targaryen. So how many dragons are we talking about? Is it going to be just 3 back in the day when they were tiny, or then they become bigger? Like, is the budget going there? Is a lot of CGI? Like, what is going on? Because I feel it's going to be more drama, right?
That's what made
Game of Thrones.
How Game of Thrones, though. If the human drama isn't the driving force, no matter how cool the dragons are, like, if there's no good reason for like why X Targaryen is flying off in the dragon to go burn this village, which I could imagine could be a thing that could happen in the show. Like, if there's no real like interesting reason or compelling reason for these guys doing what they're doing, never mind the production value and the money being thrown into it, we won't care. We cared about Game of Thrones because we wanted freaking Ned Stark's head to be on his shoulders still and shit, right? And we wanted freaking Rob Stark to freaking win, and we despise freaking Tywin because of how brilliant he is and ruthless he is, right? But like, if these things aren't there to like really grab us and like actually make us feel something, $20 million episode, good for you. Some actors got paid.
I don't even think it's actors anymore. It's more like, I don't know, editors or
when is House of Dragons coming out?
Before I give you the date for that, I do want to mention one thing. Lord of the Rings season 1, Amazon Prime, $465 million for the first season.
Dude, it's just
September
a pissing contest between these guys now. So like, who could spend the most on those fantasy series? Who could spend the most on their fantasy series?
August 21st is your answer, Daniel.
Ooh, this is
just around the corner.
So between the two,
Lord of the Rings comes out
September 2nd.
Yeah. Although Lord of the Rings, the entire show, they're committing at least $1 billion, but that's not for one season. That's for the entire show.
Are you guys excited for the Lord of the Rings series? I know, Daniel, you are. I know. Audience listeners, 49 minutes and 38 seconds. You can see his excitement return after it was gone for Wu-Tang Clan.
I think overall, the Lord of the Rings is probably gonna have more but like draw in terms of worldwide. But I think like in terms of like pop culture stuff, like just a general like consumer of like fantasy media, I think House of Dragons, because I think there's gonna be a lot of people who's gonna be drawn to uh Game of Thrones series because of how it ended, and people were trying to figure out a fix to
Mhm.
like consume something to maybe help like rehabilitate the ending for themselves, for like how like the original Game of Thrones ended, and they're hoping this new series will actually like be like, okay, yes, I don't feel so bad about watching the first Game of Thrones series.
So you think that in terms of the initial draw, you said pop culture is probably going to be more Game of Thrones, whereas the worldwide draw would be more Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Isn't pop culture really what defines what's going on worldwide?
I guess suppose you're right. So maybe overall, just
It's
like
an
Lord of the Rings.
oxymoron.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I think overall, yeah, to the pop culture, Game of Thrones is probably
Which
just gonna be
show do
better.
you think will be easier to get into?
Game of Thrones,
House of
down.
Dragons, right?
House of Dragons.
I don't know. They're both exploring source material rather than the popular story, so to speak. Lord of the Rings is a little different because like the story they're doing is like the opening 5 minute portion of the movie where they explain the backstory.
God, they can actually stretch out the first 5 openings even more.
Dude, the Lord of
don't
the
think-
Rings lore is unfathomably fucking deep, bro.
It is, but that's like in the Middle World books and all those. I mean, Middle Earth books and all those other things.
Yeah. I think it's better that they're doing that rather than trying like the Silmarillion, for example, because that is super confusing for the average reader. But if they're just exploring the Rings of Power, which everyone really understands already because it's explained to you in the first movie, then it's gonna be more popular than that. But like, I don't know if people have more of an appetite for Game of Thrones content compared to Lord of the Rings. It's like the movies came out in like 2001. It's been a long time since then.
That is exactly what I was going to say. Between the two itself, the two series themselves, I personally, like for me, I've seen both of them. I've seen the extended cuts. Between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones just gravitates me more. Lord of the Rings, couldn't care less. I think it's maybe because of the fact that it's too fantasy based, but I also like fucking Final Fantasy, right? So like it just, for some strange reason, just Lord of the Rings just never got that hook into me the way Game of Thrones did. And that could be because what Rohan said exactly, absolutely right, is the characters. Like I cared about Tywin. I cared about Tyrion. I cared about Tywin too, man. Are you kidding me? Tywin was a badass. I cared about him.
Yeah.
I did not.
We hated Cersei. Everyone hated Cersei.
Yeah.
Like it's just too many things that just like draws you in.
I think a lot of it is just the eras that they were released in. Like early 2000s is so different to now. Like streaming didn't exist. Mass market media wasn't as big as it is now.
Videos didn't exist, that's for sure.
Like Lord of the Rings kind of like set things up for like making fantasy kind of more popular and mainstream, and I think a large part of like Game of Thrones and stuff is like there's the global kind of internet community at the same time. Like my favorite thing to do with Game of Thrones is every time there was an episode was just to go online and look at the memes. Or you'd look at the different articles and like funny jokes and everything. Like I've forgotten I don't remember which website did it, but every single episode I don't know if they did it for the early seasons, but definitely the last 2 seasons, they had like little kind of like comic strips or like sketches of like funny things that happened on each episode, and they were so funny to read.
Yeah, season 7 and season 8 is where I remember.
Yeah, you didn't have that for Lord of the Rings because you still had dial-up internet and stuff back then. Like it's a lot different now.
No, isn't that during Lord of the Rings?
Thrones-
Must be a British thing. I remember we had cable in Canada.
Shots fired.
But I
Fair
do
enough.
get what you mean by the Lord of the Rings thing. Like when the Lord of the Rings came out, the first movie, it was like the first high fantasy one that was like theatrical release and very, very ambitious.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it
Like-
was like all the beauty that you imagined from the books, they had it.
Hmm.
And it was 3 fucking hours long. I had never seen a movie that long before.
But like the Game of Thrones is still current for people because of the internet and everything, but it's all on streaming now. Like, yeah, Lord of the Rings is online and you can watch them, but it's not as current as it is anymore. Like,
There's something.
Game of Thrones is still in the back of everyone's heads. It's still popular. It's still ongoing.
Game of
People
Thrones
still
always
talk
had
about it.
shock value.
Yes,
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because a lot of the characters that we really, really like in Game of Thrones, they explore a lot of gray areas. Let's be real, right? Like morally speaking, like when we talked, one of the biggest reasons why people hated Jaime Lannister's end arc, spoiler alert to somebody who has not seen, is they butchered it, right? His entire redemption arc, because of one line, they're like, oh, we just want him to go back and just like, die with Cersei. No, man. Anyways, doesn't matter. Point is, there was a lot of morally gray values that a lot of the characters explored, and it felt like a more mature story. Lord of the Rings felt very, this is the light versus dark, evil versus, good. Like, that's how I have always felt about Lord of the Rings. And even in the terms of like tonally structure, when you watch the movies, Gandalf the White, when he comes in versus the orcs, like there's a lot of imagery that's presented there that kind of works for their tonally, like that tonal shift, the light versus dark. Yeah. So
not much in between.
That's the one thing that I'm like, if this is something that the new series can provide, obviously, like I would be interested in it. But let's be real, between the two, Lord of the Rings did wrap up a lot better than Game of Thrones did, right?
That's the thing, though, is like Lord of the Rings, like The Hobbit.
Yeah,
The
Not
Hobbit was
considering,
written-
not including Hobbit.
yeah. The
Just
Hobbit
Lord of
movies
the Rings
were.
itself wrapped up.
But that's
amazingly.
the source materials there and very well established. Like Hobbit was written in 1937. Lord of the Rings was written in 1948. And the thing with Game of Thrones is the books were already like semi-popular to begin with.
Yeah, 1986.
And the fact that there was the TV adaptation of the books, it was popular for a lot of people. And then just the outrage of the fans and everyone when they ran out of the source material and they went on their own.
George R. R. Martin couldn't finish the damn books, man.
Well,
they didn't have actual way to finish the damn series.
He's working very closely.
I'll start working on Elden Ring and he needs to write
Yeah.
the 10 books.
Listen, Elden
Why
Ring.
you just take the middle road instead of Lord of the Rings, or instead of Game of Thrones, you just take Elden Ring. It's Ring, and it has George R. R. Martin.
There
get
you
the
go.
best of both worlds.
There you go, Theo, wrapping it all up nicely.
And you can just watch it on what you can just watch on Twitch. Watch for Furhat stream it. Don't even have to play it.
Rune 1 playthrough. But thank you, Theo, for wrapping this up so beautifully, because I didn't know how it was
It'll
going to
be
end this
even
episode.
more deaths than in Game of Thrones.
This is where you stop talking and I can wrap up this show. It's bad. But now you ruined it. We're going to continue on to the next story. But joking aside, though, like I was going to say one thing. Between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, if they were to come out and finish the books, there's 2 books left, right? Dawn of Spring and Winds of Winter. Would that be something that you guys would consider going back and reading all the source material now? You have the 3 books and you have the 6 or 7 books for Game of Thrones. Would that be something you guys might be interested in?
Yeah.
Actually reading it or just Audible?
Audible. Honestly, if I actually really thought about it, to the convenience factor and just being able to consume it at a just be able to actually consume it more conveniently, probably Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I would do it.
What about you, Daniel? What about you?
He's reading them. He's reading them bad
This
boys.
is my
It's
baby.
lagging so bad, I can't even tell what books those are.
It's Lord of the Rings.
It's my Lord of the Ring
Oh.
gigantic book. With Game of Thrones, I did have the books, but I had to give them to my brothers. So I ended up downloading. I had a bunch of credits on Audible to use up before I canceled my subscription because I'm not made of money. So I went and bought all the audiobooks for Game of Thrones. I figured it'd be easier just to listen to it rather than try and remember all the different characters in my head. But I've yet to start it, but I figured that's how if I want to actually read Game of Thrones, I'm just going to listen to an audiobook of it.
What about you, Theo?
I have to be really, really bored.
Sour
Not a
him
reader,
that
that
much.
one.
If he does write the last two, then yeah, I'll
I do
definitely,
think-
because like that's the other thing is like I want to listen to it, but then I also know the story isn't finished. So, like, do I really want to listen to 6 audiobooks in a row just to find out that he's not going to write the last part of the story?
Yeah, Don was saying, yeah. Mm-hmm. Depressing. Very, very depressing.
You sound like you're on the fence of actually consuming it or not.
I looked into it.
Is
I
anyone
really want.
actually-
Mhm.
You guys haven't. None of you guys have read the books, right?
No,
From-
we have the first 3. So I have them.
Like,
guess
I
I've done
don't know if the stories kind of wrap up each book or if it's like leads into each one. Because if it leads into each one and it leads off the last book, I'm just gonna be so annoyed.
Yeah,
If they don't
'cause-
kind of wrap it up a little bit, I'll be like, and then now you're waiting 20 years for him to finally write it on his deathbed. Like, I'll be pretty annoyed.
Because I
At
think the
least
last,
with Lord of the Rings, it's all complete.
I think the last book is when I think it ends with Jon Snow dying, and they haven't really continued on from it. So let's see, right?
Oh, that's where the last book ended off?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they're heavily
Long way to
connected.
go.
Mm-hmm. Long, long way to go. But do you know what? What is not going to you will have to wait that long is to watch us play Demon Souls. Next part, I believe, is part 4. We will be going live in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So come and join us on twitch.tv/cast_5. And obviously, this is being recorded. So when it comes live, guess what? You won't have to wait. It'll just be there. You can just click on the video on YouTube or go on Twitch and see our older history and just view it there. But thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. This was great. Excellent topics. Good conversation. Absolutely had a blast. I thought Ryan was going to say something. He just
What?
didn't
None.
say anything.
No, no, man. I'm good.
Fair enough.
We're good.
Fair enough. Lastly, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. With that said, sending you all nothing but good vibes from your friends at Cast5. Ciao.